I recently read a study, slippery here, about how they're trying to basically connect genetics based on dopaminergic pathways in your fucking brain to what they call spatial attention awareness, or the regulation of spatial attention. Okay, and the way they fucking did it, this was a test done on around 7-month-old babies. Okay, they have the kid sit on the parent's lap. An observer who doesn't see any of these cues, which I'm about to talk about, is only tracking their eye movements. The baby is engaged with a central, attention fucking task, basically. They're not doing anything. They're watching an animation sitting on their fucking parent's lap, okay? And then they will show, if I remember correctly, it was just on screens, they will show a green triangle, say off to their left or off to their right. And what they're then testing is how long it takes this little infant to look at the stimulus. I forgot to mention, there were babies in that study who they eliminated because they wouldn't look away from the fucking screen. Also, some they eliminated because of fussiness, couldn't get them to cooperate. And some because they just, very few, but some eliminated because they didn't accurately get a genetic sample. And then they also tried to test what's called inhibition of return, alright? Where if a stimulus is now presented in two locations, two peripheries, in this case, a green triangle over here and over here, but then also they'll put a ring over here, are they more likely to go back and look at the one they already fucking looked at? Or are they more likely to go to the new one? And this, they're trying to connect, although it wasn't conclusive with that study. Well, actually, it wasn't exactly non-conclusive, as I'd put it. It's just that, yes, they did find a relationship to these genetics above chance, alright? But there need to be more fucking studies, alright? Haven't been enough of them, especially in this age group. And they're trying to figure out if IOR, inhibition of return, how early it fucking develops. To inhibition of return, the inhibition to go back to an already seen or perceived stimulus, alright? And when I was out here, not in this exact location, but out in the fucking woods last, I noticed something I did, because Genome Link predicted my genetics would have a lower spatial attention awareness. Alright? This is what I fucking did. I saw a snake off to my left in my periphery. I registered it, but I did not look immediately. There was a delay there, like it's predicted from my fucking genetics. Alright? What I think is going on here, if we're going to relate this back to the Jungian cognitive functions, is a difference between extroverted sensing and introverted sensing. Something else I forgot to fucking mention is that there have been tests done to see when they go back to the same fucking location, how accurate are they to where the fucking thing was, alright? And I believe that the introverted sensors will be more accurate with a narrow scope of perception, which will then, if they have that inclination to focus in on a narrow scope and to focus in on one fucking thing, they will then be the types who can fucking build shit and organize shit very fucking, systematically with a narrow scope of attention. That's my line of reasoning. We don't know enough, but that's just what I'm fucking thinking. And also, in the physical environment where something might be a threat that you see in your periphery, the thing is likely moving, because the thing's likely a fucking animal, alright? And we are, more geared towards tracking movement. And the reason why this aligns more with extroverted sensing than introverted sensing, which I think is actually more about shelter building, but I don't have my ideas fleshed out about that yet. Why it aligns more with extroverted sensing is because if you're out in the freaking woods, you're not going to necessarily pinpoint exactly where you saw the goddamn snake. You're going to think it's in the general area, it's in that general vicinity, so you're going to be looking in that general vicinity, right? Because it's fucking moving. These are not static points like they were in this test. And the reason I say that is because an extroverted sensor, as described by the objective personality system, will feel an obligation, or what they call responsibility, to a wide scope of sensory data. You can't be paying attention to this one thing over here, this one snake, more than you're paying attention to the rest of the shit out there. Because the rest of the shit out there is also still a threat, okay? Yeah, you registered the snake, you'll look over there briefly, and it'll take more fucking time because of that, alright? An introverted sensor will be more likely to focus more intently on one thing, okay? So these are the people who are either going to stay looking at their fucking screen, the animation in that test, or are actually quick and then quick to go back to the same fucking stimulus, because in either scenario, it's one thing they're paying attention to, alright? Now, what I think inhibition of return is whether you have an extroverted perceiving function, alright, so extroverted intuition or extroverted sensing, instead of an introverted one, alright? The reason I say that is because inhibition of return applies both to physical stimuli and to ideas. And also tests on inhibition of return, to my knowledge, have only been done in the physical. They haven't been tested to see, will someone stick to this fucking idea or not. The extroverted sensor is going to be jumping around in the conceptual. This made me think of this, made me think of this, made me think of this. The extroverted sensor, you can see like I'm doing now, I'm sticking to one fucking topic, but jumping around with the fucking details, with the facts, with the observations, okay? So you can see there is still some inhibition of return in either case. And I do believe if these things are actually given proper study, more time and attention focused on them, specifically the Jungian cognitive functions, we will find more genetic evidence for it, all right? This right now, I need to say and make note, you can't exactly extrapolate a conclusion from it because these were suggestive studies. There have been more done on adults in different age groups with similar cueing tasks, but there needs to be more research done. I just want to throw that out there. But that's what I think it fucking is. And it lines up with how I fucking figured out recently that I do have extroverted sensing as my second function. It is a savior function, as the OPS calls it, alright? Love and gratitude. Done. By the way, when I was out there barefooted, slipping on fucking algae and shit, guess what? 0 falls! Save your SE for the fucking win!